Hi guys, Asmo here, and today I have for you a little bit of a recap from the Diablo 4, basically a league start, but it's not actual a league. So my first impressions of Diablo 4 plus some tips for leveling with the build that I am currently playing, which is a Marksman rogue. A lot of people have been asking how do you exactly level this. I'm gonna explain exactly what I did and kind of go over the things that you want to be paying attention to when you're leveling with Marksman build, because it varies depending on like which aspects you find. There's like a one aspect that I'm trying still to get that I didn't get, that changes a lot in how the build plays and which passives you take from your or which skills rather you take from your skill tree. So let's go over that first. So everything basically went as planned. I finished the story. The story was incredible, actually 10 out of 10 story, pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. I basically took my time, watched all the cinematics, like did a little bit of exploration. So I took my time. I'm not racing to 100. I feel like Diablo 4 is a game where like for the first time you play it, racing is kind of like stupid in my opinion, like personally, at least for me, because that's where the seasons come from, right? Like in season 1 I'm probably gonna be trying to race, trying to be really fast, but before a season comes along, it's just there's so much to enjoy. The game is so beautiful and so well made that it's actually really nice to just take your time and enjoy it. So I focused on that while also making a really strong character that very quickly farms things like dungeons or any like outdoor activities. I was doing I was farming a lot of obols because I'm still trying to get the shroud aspect for my pants. So I really enjoyed it. I'm level 49 right now, so I'm gonna hit one more level. I'm right now, after finishing the story, going over the dungeons that give me the codexes for everything that I need on my gear. And then once I get all my codexes, then I'm just gonna do the capstone dungeon and then do all of the world activities and go for renowned completion in world tier 3. I played completely from the start to finish in world tier 2, and during the whole story I didn't die because the build is just such a safe, strong build that you really don't have any issues. The single target was good, the clear was good, so I really enjoyed it. And even on world tier 2 all the bosses were pretty good, like Lilith, first try without dying, like every single campaign boss first try without trying, so it was really nice. And basically I had to adjust a little bit because I didn't find the defensive aspect, which gives you the shrouds on crit. So I basically skipped the shrouds, and I also skipped concealment, and I instead of that was using shadow imbuement, which I had simply from gear. Even just like one rank of shadow imbuement is doing pretty good damage. It helps you with clear a little bit and just gives you something to press offensively as you are fighting the monsters. So I was using shadow imbuement plus poison imbuement. Poison imbuement was of course the main source of damage, but I was doing shadow imbuement for clear a little bit. The thing that helped clear a lot was, for example, this aspect. So Marksman skills have up to 10% chance to create arrow storm at the enemy's location. So I have that aspect, and then I have it, I think, in some other place. Yeah, I have it here as well. This is a higher value, so this one is the one that's working. And then I also have another really good aspect for clear, which is the trick shot, right? So both of these you can farm yourself. Every single aspect except for the except for the shroud ones is farmable. So the clear is basically guaranteed on this character. Let's go over the passives and what I took and what order, because that's one of the things that people asked a lot. So first I took, of course, the puncture and fundamental puncture. That's the best skill that you can pick early on, and applying vulnerable is not an issue. Like people were saying, like, we're playing ranged, but then you have to get into melee to apply the vulnerable. It doesn't really matter because you want to be close anyway, because you don't want like monsters, like small ads getting between you and the boss for the rapid fire. So you naturally end up just being pretty close to the enemies, so it's not an issue at all. And puncture was just very good for the combo points playstyle because it's the fastest one. So just 3 quick punctures and then rapid fire, and with improved rapid fire you basically never run out of energy. You don't need to wait for the skill, you don't need to wait for the energy to come, and it's very good. So I picked first the puncture, second I picked like 1 point in penetrating shot, then I put 1 point in rapid fire, and I just one by one was adding points to this until I unlocked dash. Then I put 1 point in dash as soon as I possibly could, and then I just continued with this. I put later points into improved rapid fire and then into improved penetrating shot. At the time where I put points in improved penetrating shot, I was also able to get the poison imbuement, so I got the poison imbuement just to have the imbuement, and after that I started going for some mobility. So I went for the stutter step, which gives me 15% movement speed on crit. Then I also went for where it is, this haste. So I went for haste, which gives you movement speed basically at all times when you have above 50% energy. This is very, very powerful, lots of speed. Then I went for some energy regeneration so that I could spam my penetrating shot a little bit more, and then I went for the precision, and then we filled in with some extra damage. So we filled in first with deadly venom. I started with 1 point of deadly venom and then 3 points in debilitating toxins. This is a very, very powerful defensive point, probably one of the reasons why I didn't die to any bosses or anything like that, because they do way less damage when you poison them. Then I went for the precision imbuement, which gives me more crit, so that procs my movement speed more often, and then filled in with some extra damage from malice, so damage to vulnerable, and then also weapon mastery for damage to vulnerable enemies, because I'm using bow right now. Crossbow is a little bit less powerful until you stack a lot of crit, but the bow one is very, very strong when you're using bow because you're always attacking vulnerable enemies. So this is very, very strong couple of points. And that's basically it. In terms of the gear, there is nothing special. The thing that you want to focus on, I guess, is try to get some dodge. Dodge is very, very useful. Focus on boots. That's #1 priority. So good boots with like a decent implicit, like either +1 to evade charge or the movement speed on evade, because you want to be able to like move quicker in town and stuff like that. That's one of the main benefits of this. Like the one that reduces a dodge on attack, it doesn't really help you that much. And then we've got as much movement speed as possible. And then I got these gloves at around level 40, I think. That were really, really good. I didn't have this other legendary power on the ring, so I imprinted that. I had +2 ranks to penetrating shot, huge amount of crit and attack speed, so those are really, really strong. And then on the weapons, you really want to make sure that you get like dexterity, that you get things like critical strike damage, critical strike chance, vulnerable damage, things like that. Also damage over time is all right because you're doing a lot of poison damage, so that's what I did. And as you can see from the footage, the build is just absolutely blasting. It feels really good, it's really mobile, it's really cool when you're like in a dungeon and you get like just couple of packs chasing you. You just get 2 or 3 massive packs together and you just run circles around them while you're doing the either shadow or poison imbuement with the penetrating shot. You're just destroying everything, and you get the storms spawning on top of them, and as you're like going around them, you can basically keep them in the storms permanently, so they're just stacking in the storm, exploding, killing each other. It's really, really good clear. So I really, really enjoyed this build, and I'm gonna go do the last couple dungeons to get my aspects so that I can craft a little bit better gear, and then I'm gonna do the capstone dungeon. On world tier 1, this would probably blast extremely fast because it has really, really good mobility, really, really good movement speed, really, really good coverage. So if you're playing on world tier 1, you're gonna feel like a god just blasting through everything. But even on world tier 2, the damage felt good. Like I never felt like, oh, I'm not doing damage, maybe I should switch to like world tier 1. Like I was never in that situation, and I didn't really put that much care into my gear. I was just upgrading whatever I saw. Like I wasn't specifically going out of my way to farm gear at any point. So I basically just blasted through the campaign, ended the campaign around level 45, and then now I started just doing dungeons to get all of my aspects. And yeah, after I do this, you can see like I have tons of regions that are still unexplored because I simply just followed the campaign. I did a couple of events. I did a couple of the like Gathering Legion events that were somewhere, I think, in the dry steppes because they were near me. So I just did that a couple of times to get to like see how that works, and they were pretty easy. Like everybody was just there was like so many people going to them, so that was really nice. What else did I do? yeah, basically everything was pretty easy. So I definitely recommend this build. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments below. Let's gamble for pants. Last couple gambles. Oh, explosions for victimized. Nope. We need the one with the shrouds. Still no luck getting it, but eventually I'm gonna get it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time with more updates.